Peace, Fabio. Peace. Peace to the east, the west, the north, and the south. You just saw me a couple of a couple hours ago, right? So check on in. I don't even know if it'll work right now. Are you there? Yeah. Oh, I already talked Bon. I talked about the PGE. I think it's some ships coming in, or they're gonna take the energy and utilize it for a weapon or some sort underneath the ground, one or another. Oh, hold on. Okay. So I know people are shocked because I never do two lives in a row. It's listen, I was just so motivated. Oh gosh, they're just announcing now. I was so my squirrels. I'm so distracted. My squirrels are going batty today. Whenever it's rainy, I think it's mating season, so they're going crazy outside. Um, this is an important topic, so I wanted to touch on it because I just saw a video. Thanks to Tristina, who just shared an amazing video, and I have to speak about it because it touched me so much because I know the truth, and it's never been this raw before from someone in the industry in this way, and I felt she was so candid and amazing. So let me give a big up first to Ana Lucia Alvarez, who was one of the top models of her time in the 80s. This is Ana Lucia Alvarez. She was born in Brazil. She did an interview with author Tiffany Fitzhenry. Okay, I always want to give shout outs and references to who I'm talking about. And we're going to get into handlers. And this is an important topic because I think they banned part of my video. I don't know if you can still see my agent and my handler video because they put it as like, even in the thing it says it's against children or something. It was like it touched community lines or something they put on there. And that video, I don't curse or anything, so they had an issue with it. But big up to this video and Tristania, who just shared it with me. So we're gonna get into handlers right now. I got an hour with you. Hey, greetings from São Paulo. Pontage, right? Pontage. Pontage. I was always saying bon dia, right? Good day. Pontage. Um, but I wanted to, because you guys were an hour ahead in Sao Paulo, right? So I'm gonna get into handlers and agents, governmental agents, and this is an important topic. And again, I was motivated to make this video after hearing, yes, for the power. Let me sidebar. For anyone checking in, please put a like on the video as you step in the room, just as a common courtesy. That's what we do when we step in. And also, I did discuss the energy. So check out the last part of my last video. I did discuss the outages. I didn't want to go over it again because we kind of discussed it and I told you my thought of what is occurring with the outages. Okay, so I said get your cameras out, get your seismic activity perimeter equipment out, and I want to get footage. I want footage sent to me, and I definitely want some intel on seismic activity. Oh, and who's this? See, as soon as I talk about handlers, now this conversation again, I made a video years ago. Look at this. I hope. Look at this. Uh oh. Hold on, family. Hold on. I just gotta make sure because if somebody's. When people start making U-turns, I hold on a minute. Put some likes on the video until I come back to you. I'm just checking out the back of me. Dude just pulled around and is not coming out the car, so I'm just making sure I'm checking him out. Okay. Yeah, I'm watching you, dude. Sorry about that. Y'all like to see when FleurBrun gets real nosy. Listen, you come to my, it's nobody in my neighborhood like that. You better check yourself before you wreck yourself, especially when we start talking about handlers. Please put a like on the video if you're coming in. It's 218 people, and I'd appreciate it if you put a like. So let's get into handlers, family. Again, I gave a shout out to Ana Lucia Alvarez, her interview on author Tiffany Fitzhenry. I'm gonna put the link. Actually brought this. Listen, so much going on. Hey, Mamita. Hey, Lena Fairy Light. Haven't seen you for a while. Um, let's get into it. Again, many of you know I've talked about handlers in a very personable way, but we're going to get into handlers and what they are, why they're distributed in the matrix, what is their purpose, how governmental agents are actually all over the love and light community, the UFO community, the Intellis community, and all over the conscious community, the pseudo conscious community. This interview blew the spots. This was supermodel. It was a supermodel who was blowing the spot on her interaction with what's his name? Bernstein Bears. I never say his name. Epstein. Epstein Bear. Oh, okay. You can't see my face. I'm sorry. Do you see me a little better? I have the iPad out in the car. Okay, can you see me a little better? Can you see my hair? Okay. So, all right. We have a wonderful interview. Yeah, Warrior, I'm back. We have a wonderful. Hey, Veronica. We have a wonderful. We have a wonderful video and an interview that was with a supermodel who was talking about her interactions in the supermodel as a model, as a top tier model in the industry, in the entertainment industry, and she basically just broke the yoke. She's so brave. I had to give her a shout out, and she's from Brazil, so I gotta give her a super shout out because that's my home base, right? So she was talking about her coming from the industry and what's necessary, the layering effect that happens when you're in the industry, and that she started off with an agency, almost like a mom and pop kind of agency, like a smaller agency. I think she called it a cafe agency. I'm not sure. And she said she started off and they were a lot more protective of the models, especially the young girls being set out on go sees. Many of us are from New York, understand, or from LA, or from Paris, or from London. Many of the bigger cities, Milan. If you're modeling or you've been part of the industry, or some of you do the backlay. I know many of you do the backlay in these industries. You know that you go and go sees. You get signed on to some of these agencies, and they basically, yes, Patricia already threw us in there. Basically, these women are being propped out there for prostitution. Okay, she broke it out. She broke it all open. The egg yolk is all over the place, saying that a lot of these models are being used and procured as prostitutes. Okay, and basically, if you are going part of these bigger agencies, the more popular agencies, and the higher up in the tier that you are, they kind of test you a little bit. They kind of just, they want to gear how far they can take you and how far they'll put you in the industry based on what you allot or what you allow to occur. So what's wonderful is, she said, a lot of times when you get in the industry, you're assigned these handlers, and handlers are the people that will come in as your and I'm going to talk about it as far as entertainment, and then we're going to bring it to more practicality of how these handlers interact in our own lives. So she talked about how they're assigned to a lot of the models, and these are people that take control of your finances, where you live, what you do, who you talk to, and they basically isolate you, which is classic in the MK Ultra programming as well. They tend to isolate you and keep you away from families. Okay, you said you're embarrassed about Cardi B. You shouldn't be. I'm embarrassed to see Cardi B. It makes Cardi B isn't a representative of any of us. Okay, Cardi B, I put her picture in there because we're gonna get into that in a minute. I gotta do that at the end, because Cardi B people, they come like vultures. Big up to all uptown New York. They come like vultures. Uptown comes in, they protect her. Her people will come in this feed in a minute. When they see her picture, I didn't put her name, but if they see her picture, her vultures will come in the feed, and you'll see the kind of statements they make. Okay, she isn't one of us. Okay, as far as frequency wise, and I'm gonna get into her in a minute, but that's near nor there right now. Okay, so please put a like when you come in. It's a common courtesy. I'm back again for the second time today. So Cardi B makes Bronx look bad. She makes a lot look Horrific. So handlers are established, given to certain people, especially if they need to watch you and monitor you if you are in a position of influence. Okay? Now, this can go in the highest level. Obviously, actors, this young model, well, she's a nice seasoned model now. She's out of the modeling industry, but she talks about it from her disposition in the modeling industry. She brings up the Leonardo DiCaprio and his role in it, and how he came in and he was nervous, talking about the different tiers and layers of how they will allow you in affluent communities to go into different levels and layers, and it depends on what you allow and what you are, what you're culpable or what you're complicit in doing. Okay, so she brings this up, and why I wanted to discuss handlers is because right now, as we're going into higher tiers and higher layers of consciousness, they are disseminating, the Smiths are being disseminated in mass droves because they know who you are. And when I'm talking about you, I'm talking about all of you who are showing up in the world. You're raising your frequency, you're influencing others in positive ways. You are a problem. Your light is causing them ish. Your enlightenment, your sanity in an insane world, your lantern is causing them beef. So they will disseminate Smiths, agents, handlers as necessary. And you will see them show up in your family dynamics. They will show up in your friends and husbands and wives. They will show up sometimes as your very own children if you aren't careful or mindful of how it can be, in this holographic system. Okay, so I'll give you a backlay of why I brought up handlers. Many years ago, many of you know the story of my sociopathic, narcissistic, Nazi ex-husband, who was absolutely the most horrendous being and still is on this planet. Big up to that. I was with him for many years. He was my handler. I hadn't at the time realized he was a handler, but many years later, as time went on and I broke free from the chains and the restrictions of being with someone who was intending and suppressing my light and would disallow for me to engage in things that would propel me into what many of you are witnessing today on this live feed. Okay, so please put a like on the video. I appreciate it. We've got 362 wonderful souls in this, hopefully souls or different beings. Please put a like on the video as a common courtesy. So that being said, whenever I broke free from my handler and realized that I could be literally, it took me a while, the deprogramming, the gaining self-esteem. Handlers can be heinous, and they can inflate you and they can deflate you all in one breath. That's what they do. They isolate you. They disallow for you ever feeling a sense of empowerment or independence away from them. They do this purposefully. Okay? And what is interesting about that is that as soon as I broke free from that handler, they sent handlers into droves. And what I denoted, and why this conversation is important, is that the particular handlers that they sent for FleurBrun happen to be of same astrological signatures. And you say, how is this possible? I personally think that just like they have a knowing of who and what you are astrologically, I'm a triple Sag. They will send astrological signs that are easily inceptible and also will allow for better infiltration. What does this mean? Every handler that is sent for FleurBrun for the first couple years were all Cancers. They were all the astrological sign of Cancers. Cancers were the number one sign that was sent to me, that was sent to handle me from youth. It wasn't my ex that was my first. It was a number of Cancers that were sent to me previous to that. So what they would do is test runs. So they would always send a male that was a Cancer to try to procure me. He would test me, see how receptive I was to to being to mating, to see if I was receptive to that, right? So they would send them. So after a while, what happened is that once they figured out that cancers could infiltrate me, they sent one in and they made him unrelenting, so that it was almost impossible, especially as naive as I was at the time, for me to kind of break free from that kind of and that kind of entrainment, mind entrainment. You know, if you aren't aware of who you are, others are aware of who you are. When I say who you are, I'm saying your disposition in the future realms of your timelines. If you're influencing people, if you're homeopathic healers, if you're light workers, if you're here to assist to humanity, if you're humanitarians, if you're here to assist Mother Tiamat, they know who you are. And by all means, don't ever think for 1 second they aren't going to send someone to try to to take you off your path and to distract you so that you aren't doing as much enlightened work as you normally would. Okay, so that being said, they sent a number of cancers. And the one cancer that took well was my ex. Now, my ex was what I consider to be a Nazi in a past life. He literally was a Nazi, and he had a lot of influence over my look at this. Hold on. See, whenever I talk about handlers, there's a woman walking around my neighborhood with no socks. She has no socks and shoes. Interesting. So, okay, so what they did is they sent handlers that were cancer. So when I totally left my ex, I rebuked him. Christians, big up to all the Christians in the house. I rebuked my ex. He had all kinds of demonic, they basically, and also some people ask, do handlers know their handlers? By the nature of the matrix, it isn't necessary for them to know who they are. They know who they are. So if a handler is usually somebody who's inceptible, either by being in the industry or being in the entertainment, in the sports arena, or by being in addicted to drugs or alcohol. They know who the handlers don't have to know who they are. Their role is predetermined based on their susceptibility to infiltration. So they can any person can be a smith if they're inceptible. Any person who's an alcoholic, drug addict in the entertainment field, in the sports arena, is inceptible. So they don't have to know, but their behavior, what they do to you, they know how they can alter you and also keep you and confine you. Okay, so that being said, a cancer was sent, and once I got rid of that cancer, there was another cancer that showed up. Now, this is what's important, family, and this is why I think her video was so, it touched me, it hit me on a spot. Because I think a lot of times we don't discuss this. We talk about handlers in such a very grandiose way, very detached way. Like these are the descriptions of what handlers do. This is what they are. But they procure these handlers so specifically to you, and astrologically they will pick adverse and controlling signs that are literally able to control you. So whatever sign has that kind of control over you, that astrological disposition, along with a lot of other factors, it's not just that, a lot of other factors, they can utilize that to their advantage. Now, on a military level, they have cultivated MK Ultra systems of creating these handlers so that they can disseminate them to the higher light workers and more of those who would cause more ripples in the matrix in the future. Okay, so then you'll get more governmental agents. They'll disseminate governmental agent handlers for those who are higher up in the tiers of influencing people. Okay, so my ex was a cancer, and then one came over later who was a secret mason. He was a spiritualist, and he was doing spells and rituals on me, and I didn't know. And many of you know who it was because I came to the realization last year when something was revealed. And I kind of believed it and knew it was but afterwards it absolutely was. There was somebody I was associated with who was a cancer, who was utilizing spells and rituals to hide who they were. And they were a secret mason. And I hadn't any idea. But one thing they did later is one thing with me, with the particular handlers, they wouldn't allow handlers to have sex with me anymore. This is, I hope, wait, hold on. There's no little ones. Let me just make sure. I always have to, please put a like on the video while you get your little ones and get them out of the room. This may go left. So any little people, you know, I don't want little people in this conversation. I don't have mine in the neck of the woods, and this might go into something that's we got to get raw and we have to get unfiltered to really understand that many people here may have handlers in their life right now, and you know what I'm talking about based on me sharing these things. So, that being said, um, you know, they sent another handler for me, and it seemed like someone, because I was in wake, I was whistleblowing at the time. I was on shows. I started to talk out, and they distributed. Now this came from the industry. Now, what's interesting is because I was in one arena, in another arena where more I was around a lot of sports figures and things like that, they sent one in the entertainment field from another angle, seemingly illuminated, seemingly conscious. So I automatically let the person in based on the fact that they were so knowledgeable about the occult, so knowledgeable about astrologics. They were in the awareness that I was in. So I automatically assumed that everything that was gold was golden. This was my mistake and my naivety. Okay. Um, no, there are righteous. I'm not saying all Masons, but I have an aversion to Masons. Most Masons that I'm speaking of are adverse to us, meaning they're doing covert activities, occult activities, in order to keep us subjugated and and keep us perpetually enslaved in their rituals. Okay, so they sent another Cancer, and he was doing spells, and he does spells on women. And it wasn't until after there was a particular phase of moon. This is why I say our ancestors are amazing. That there was a ritual and like a phase of moon, and I saw him in my bed, and I saw this, and I saw this being in my bed, and I realized he was doing spells. And then what came out later is he was going to everyone in my groups saying I was in love with him, which was never the case. Obviously he wasn't even in my type range, but he was going to different people. See how the handlers do? He was going to individual people outside of me, setting up shop, saying negative things, saying things like, oh, this, she's doing this, she's this. And what it is, he was setting up shop to isolate me, but also to create adversion in my own groups, to incept my own groups that I created in order to create more power. So people respected him over me, but it was hidden, always a hidden hand. And that was the reason I personally think that was the one who attacked my mother. After I blew his spot, I disattached from my handler, the second Cancer handler. I disattached from him. He sent out a ritual and almost killed my mother. This is my own personal opinion. It's not even my opinion, it's my knowing. He sent something out because I'm highly protected. Those around me weren't as protected, and the person that was least protected at the time that was close to me was my mother. And many of you know this happened right before the conference of last year. Okay, so that was the second Mason that I got out. So what they decided to do is they realized that the Cancers, I was up on the Cancers. I was up on all of these specific astrological signs that they were sending at agents. So what did they do? As above, so below. They sent the opposite of the Cancers, which are Capricorns. They sent a host of Capricorns that were part of the elite system of people that I'm comfortable with. And why does this matter? Because a lot of times we talk about it so generally and we don't realize it's very specific. They're very specific to come to you. Listen, and that's why I tell you, after that Cancer who attempted to kill my mother and murder my mother, and I healed her, after they attempted to do that, I made sure I made a pact with myself, zero else, a pact with myself. There wouldn't ever be any other handler, any male, any female that would ever have control over the things I do, the things I say, what control my ebbs and flow. There wouldn't ever be. So I made that pact with myself, because handlers will come, and I see them come all over the place. There's Capricorns coming. All of a sudden, all these other Capricorns are coming. They got rid of the Cancers because they knew I was on to the Cancers, and I didn't want to mess with Cancers because it had messed with my peace of mind. So I basically wouldn't even, if a man wanted to mate with me, as long as he was a Cancer, I wouldn't even date him. I wouldn't even talk to him. He wouldn't even have an opportunity. Okay, then they said, okay, she's adverse to Cancers, let's go to the opposite, because remember, Capricorns is the direct opposite of Cancers. They're staying in the same up as above, so below. This is why I say they're that systematically covert. They will go at every angle. Oh, and they're sending radiation through my phone because it's burning my hands. It's not my phone, it's my iPad. So that being said, how do you know their handlers? We'll go over this again because I think many people don't realize that. And again, Cancers were for me and Capricorns. And I just realized there was another Capricorn that is now a handler because of the things that they're doing. And I realized, oh snap, they're sending Capricorns to try to sidebar me. They're sending them in there and they're thinking that I wouldn't realize. No, I am way smarter and way more I'm way more what do you call it? I notice everything. I notice everything. So for you, it may be another astrological sign, but a lot of times they will send much more aware. I'm in heightened awareness. I smell an agent. I smell these covert agents and these handlers. And with me, they send them in the droves. They send different types. And they know that I come from a certain kind of background. So I would only allot for certain people to come close to me because that's why I say I have a whole bunch of filters on me. So they know that they have to send someone of a certain social economical background. They know that they have to send someone of a certain kind of education. They know that they have to send someone who has a certain image that is upholding in the way I consider my family dynamics. They're very covert. And you got to be careful with that because they will procure a handler. Got all these weirdos driving over here today. Hold on. They will procure all these different types of handlers, and they will cultivate them in a way that's perfect for you. So they will do exactly what you think is healthy. That's why the conscious community is infiltrated by all of these governmental agents. The whole conscious community, I'm serious, family. The whole conscious community, and I know that you don't like me saying this, but I personally, this is my opinion. Remember, I tell you what's my opinion. Please put a like on the video. I always do that to ease the energies. I really do. Please put a like on the video. We have 485 fabulous people in here. Just a like on the video as a common courtesy would be helpful. I appreciate that. And as you notice, YouTube has been a lot kinder to FleurBrun. Okay. So all of the conscious community is infiltrated. Every single person on the you got Tommy Seymour. He's not now. Tommy Seymour is not the. He's not the agent, but he is set up. He is paid by agents to be an agent. He's not an agent per se. Like Tommy Seymour is not what you consider to be a governmentally implanted agent. He's implanted by those beings because of the kind of vibration of anti-melanin female vibration. He's suitable for aversion to the melanite female on this planet. And because he's a brown male doing it, they love that. They love governmental type of agents online that uphold the darkness, uphold a tyrannistic, I make up words, tyrannistic kind of quality. Tommy Seymour is not an agent, but he's implanted by agents. Nature Boy is a hybrid, cultivated agent that's set in there. Whenever they came at Hassim Campbell, another promoted agent in the dark community, Brother Polite. Oh, it's starting to rain. Okay, hold on. No, can you hold on? It's hard to. I'm trying to. You know, when I have this, it's so cumbersome. You can see me, right? Okay. Brother Polite is another governmental agent. They've all implanted them, and you could tell there's another one that's called Clive Diva. This is one that's like an MK. You got to be careful too, because people will switch because they're real susceptible to mind control. So then you'll get these women that are literally what do you consider? They're almost like, what do you call them? There's a name that some of the feminists call them. I forgot what they're called. They're inceptible, but based on having low self-esteem. So they're always susceptible to being paid prostitutes or paid provocateurs. So we have to, that's why I say you have to be mindful of those who are promoting themselves as light workers, and meanwhile they have darkness all in their life. I trust zero who come from Satanist or cult families. As soon as one of these, anytime someone says they came from a cult or they came from a Satanist family, they already are on my list of insertable and infiltratable agents that are incepted. Because people suffering from anyone cultivated in cults or Satanist families have been inserted with demons and demonic attachments. So a lot of times what happens is that they will come out and say, oh, I left this cult. It's not a diss to anybody, but I will tell you, if I hear anybody's part of a cult, or they come from a cult, or they've been cultivated by Satanists and Luciferians, I will keep my distance. I will keep my distance. And, you know, a lot of times we get caught up in the fame. And whenever you see some of these people online, I know that, hold on. I don't like using this in a car. I like my phone better. I'm old fashioned, right? Hold on. I'm a little old fashioned. I like my my phone better. So whenever you see these people online, you say, oh my gosh, they're so, you know, listen, if someone's a whistleblower and they're blowing whistles and their messages are so clear and crisp and no one's infiltrating them, their message is coming out clear, nobody's breaking down the channels and never getting issues, I would question that they're a whistleblower. I personally think they're inserted by the Matrix. I think they're inserted by the Matrix. This is what I think. And this is why I say these agents / handlers. Now, handlers could be agents too. Mind you, it could be one and the same. Because a lot of times you will see these grandiose platforms with people who are denoting themselves as light workers, but meanwhile, they are steering people in they're taking their popularity or their perfect imagery, and that is helping and assisting them to incept in your mind. Because if someone looks very sweet and kind, if they look beautiful, if they look amazing, that is also a way to incept inside of you and make you automatically trust them. And then once they gain your trust and they give you a lot of truth, then they can start to insert the lies and the misnomers and the darkness. This is a slippery slope, family, and they've inserted a lot of agents and handlers up in this matrix. And you have to dip and dive, almost like Pac-Man on the third version of Pac-Man. Yes, please like the video if you're coming in the room. Okay? The handlers will make sure they isolate you too. And I would say, family, it can be, you know, people say who could be, anybody could be your handler. Anybody could be your handler. And how do you know they're handler? They isolate you. They isolate you and they make sure that you go to them for everything. Also, handlers, if you are in this community of knowing spirituality and being astute spiritually, handlers don't really have the same intel as you. They're basically like, they'll just agree, or they'll just have almost like they're master studiers. They're not coming, it's not an internal knowing, it's an external external like researcher who's researched so much about you, researched so much about the industry, that when they talk to you, it's basically more yeses and agreeances and having knowledge of the basics of spirituality without having the inner spiritual knowing or even the auric field that matches that type of being. Yes, master mimickers. Thank you, master mimickers. It's very necessary that we pay attention. I was so moved by this interview. Because I know Ana Lucia Alvarez, which was a model she was on. I'll give the young lady's site is author Tiffany Fitzhenry. She did an interview. One of the C-stars on my Instagram shared the interview. It really touched me, family. It really touched me because finally we're getting the truth. FleurBrun was a young lady in New York City that was very quirky and weird. I've gotten invited to all these different parties and um, industry parties and things of that nature. And I remember sitting there as a young lady coming from really, amazing parents. Big up to my mom and dad. Amazing parents who really loved me and cultivated me well. I appreciate it so much more now that I'm an adult and I'm a mother. But thank you, Nana. Nana, thank you, Nana Woo Woo. I just wanted to say your name, Nana Woo Woo. I like that name. They basically raised me well enough so that when I got around people, I didn't even know people did cocaine until I was in my early 20s. I thought, this is how naive I was. I remember being asked to I was asked to a couple industry parties. I was always invited. One thing I say is I was young, I was very open, I was always the young lady. A lot of people from the industry remember me, the quirky girl with the glasses sitting with ripped jeans on the floor talking about UFOs. That was FleurBrun, okay? That's how they knew me, okay? So even my husband, that's how he met me, is sitting down on the floor talking about weird things, and that was always, accepted at the time. They just knew I was somebody's daughter, and I wasn't part of the sect of people, but that, I was allowed in those places because I was, I guess they were intrigued. Okay, but I remember for the first time I was sitting at an industry party, and I love music, so they invited me up to the DJ booth because I like to dance, and I was invited to the DJ booth. I think I was like 19 because I went to college early. I went to college when I was 17. I went into the DJ booth, and they had a brown little vial. A vial. I think it's a brown. What is it? Is that called a vial? I think it's the brown bottles. I don't know what they're called. The brown, are they freezing? Put it 13 if you can. Oh, Lord. Are they doing that already? Refresh. Okay. It's buffering. 13 if you can see me again. Okay, you do? No. Okay, perfect. All right. I'll make sure. Put it 13 if you, okay, everybody can see. Okay, I'm going to keep going. All right. So, yeah, I was in a DJ booth, and they had a brown little bottle. I don't know if that's called a vial. I think it's called a vial. And look at that. What are you driving around stuff for? And a little scooper thing. And the guy said, you want some? So I was looking at him. I didn't know what he was talking about because it wasn't food. Because, I would be like, is that food? FleurBrun at the time, and I wasn't thick, I had thinned out at that point, but I was like, is that food? And I looked in it, and it was apparently coke. It was cocaine at the time. And that was the first time I realized, first of all, that's how naive. It was the first time I knew brown people did cocaine, because I didn't know brown people did cocaine. I knew brown people like to smoke marijuana, but all of my lunar wealthy families that I grew up around, their families did more cocaine. Like, I thought it was more of an access thing, I thought more brown people did more, like, that was just my assumption, and forgive me because that was my assumption at the time. Remember, FleurBrun is many years ago, so you have to take in consideration that at the age that I was in Mount Vernon, New York. I wasn't exposed to drugs. My parents weren't on drugs and alcohol. I came from a very small family, so it wasn't something that I knew about. So I don't want to insult anyone and say, oh, well, at the time I didn't know brown people did cocaine. Okay, I didn't. Even when crack came out, I more so thought that was more accessible to brown people because that was something I saw more readily in the news, okay? But they were offering cocaine, and that's when I knew I was in a different thing. So mind you, let's fast forward. FleurBrun said, obviously I said, no, thank you. And let me explain something. The guy who offered me the vial of cocaine, hold on. Yes, baby. Yes, you can have some. Just make sure you close. Hold on. My little one, I bought these new dipping things. I hope she closes the bag. My little ones, you know how your little ones will open bags of, like, there's a new seaweed thing. They open the bags and they don't close it, and then it gets stale. I bought these little, anyway, this is a mama, that's a mama thing right now. Okay, so, anyway, so he offered me cocaine, and then the guy that I was with, which is really cute, he was my cup of tea, and he had liked me for a long time. So the guy who invited me to the party looked at the guy who offered me coke, which was the DJ. Well, the DJ, he was in there were two DJ, and he looked at the guy who brought me there. I won't say his name because he probably is watching the video. I'm keeping his anonymity. He looked at the guy, and the guy looked at him, and he just gave him a nod, saying, I guess he's saying I'm okay, because if I'm not engaged, I guess he offered me cocaine to see if I was that and that kind of thing, but also they would ask me to leave if I wasn't okay with it. Do you understand? So the fact that I didn't take the cocaine, he was nervous to even do that around me. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so that was my first time going into a situation in the industry where I saw things that I wasn't accustomed to. Okay, and then later on I was invited to, you know, I did some photography in school, and I was actually one of Oprah's major photographers. Was a great artist, and some of you know the story. I'm not going to get insidious because it's an insidious story, but one of the top photographers who used to photograph for Oprah, and this is all in New York City. Yeah, just taking consideration for those who don't know, New York City is a totally different world. It's kind of like LA, or it's kind of like, you know, Paris. We're in the world where you're in a celebrity type of space. You know what I mean? I can go places where industry parties are. It's a little different. And because I came from a family that did okay, I was allotted in this world. And as we know now, maybe there was more of a reason why I was allowed to walk in this world a little easier than most. Okay, so in other industry parties, I remember going somewhere and there was a whole table, and you know, I'm walking in looking pretty. I actually had to do my hair because I used to have my hair all braided sometimes. I actually was told to look a little more spiffy because I was going into an industry party. And okay, sorry, that's my twinny. I was told about an industry party, and there was a whole table full of cocaine. What the heck is that? A whole table, like a mountain full of table of white snow. It looked like white snow on the table. I'm just giving you an idea of how brazen these beings are as far as drugs, and how that makes you susceptible to these kind of infiltrations of agents and okay, of these agents and these handlers. How easy it is, because remember, the chat looks odd. Okay, what's going on with the chat? Is everything okay? Yeah, some weird people. Remember, I've got Cardi B's picture, and I didn't even go into Cardi B yet. So whenever I have Cardi B's picture, you're gonna get some weirdness coming in the I'm your handler? I don't, at least I don't know. I don't think I am. And if I'm your handler, I'm bringing you to the goddess state. If FleurBrun is your handler, you're going to be very happy because you're going to be eating well, you're going to be healthy, you're going to be living past the pole shift, you'll be dropping it like it's hot, you'll be enjoying yourself, you'll be eating mangoes halfway naked, enjoying it with your company. So if I'm your handler, I think I'm probably the best handler you have right now. Okay, so let me say this. I had a point. So what I was saying is that at the time in the industry, I was exposed to seeing a lot of drugs being openly used in the industry. And when I say this, is that when you realize from a young girl, who some would think that you're, you know, especially a young FleurBrun, I'm a little younger, I was a little more raw, naive, you know. A lot of times the offers that I was getting as a young girl were insane, but because I was loved, I had a lot of self-esteem, even as a young girl, and I was scared of what I was seeing because it was nothing that I ever encountered. I stayed out of that. So if I saw something like that, when I saw the room with the table with the mountains of like white, I walked right out because it wasn't a place for me. I didn't feel right. I got scared. Like the inside of me got scared. Like my heart would go like this. When I saw something like that, I got scared. And that's why I said my parents did a good job, because I didn't even sit there long enough to even be curious enough to stay there and see who was dipping in that mountain. You know what I mean? I walked right out. And it also allowed me to make sure I tried to stay grounded in that society. So that being said, the handlers in your life are going to be sent to you. They're going to be sent to you. And they will be sent to you based on your likes and needs and your wants and your desires. They will match you to a T. They are procured, they are created, and they are manufactured by the matrix in order to keep you perpetually distracted and keep you unmotivated to move ahead or forward. Cardi B is pictures on there specifically because whatever she did to get to the point, and I loved how this interview stated that Cardi B isn't a talented artist. She didn't work her way up in the business. She does not write her own music. She is barely talent. She barely has the talent to even talk, let alone make records. She was procured in that industry, and I told you, I've said it over and over, it is my opinion, she has done something diabolical. I don't care what, I don't know what babies were dead, I don't know what babies were killed, who was murdered, who was sacrificed, what was done, but I tell you, she is something that was placed in that position because she had done something. She had matched the vibration of the dark ones, and whatever they desired or required for her to do, she didn't have a problem doing it. And I'm saying she did something a little more insidious because of the heightened state she was in. So when you look at her and you hear her language and you see her vibration, you say to yourself, oh my gosh, she's in this position? How did she get there? She best believes she did something diabolical. That's why I say be careful with your children idolizing. I heard my little ones outside, their little friends outside were talking about Cardi B, the little girls, there's little girls from Russia or Bulgaria that live in my neighborhood, and they were saying how they think Cardi B is cool. And I said to the little girls, I said, what makes her cool? You know, I don't want to knock it down like, you know, like an old school parent. I was like, what makes her cool? Oh, I think she's, you know, she's really cool. I like the way she dresses. I said, you like the way she dresses? I said, a lot of people dress cool. What makes her more cool than everybody else? And they couldn't really answer it. I said, why do you like her music? Oh, because it sounds so good. I said, does her rap sound good or does the music sound good? Well, I guess the music sounds really good. And I said to her, listen, make sure when you like someone, it's based on their own personal talent. Without music or beats, bad beats in the background, without the fancy clothes, would Cardi B be somebody that you felt was talented? Well, I never thought of it like that. Maybe not. Because she isn't. She isn't talented. She's been placed in that position because she's done some dark things. That is why when she got in that position, she was scared. She was scared because she knew to stay in that spot, whatever she did to get in it, she's going to have to do a whole lot more. And she's going to have to maintain her level, her level of intel. She's going to have to maintain the diabolical nature of whatever she's upheld. It's really disgusting. And when you see her speaking and as low vibrational as she talks, that is exactly a matrix special. She upholds exactly the low vibration they want women of color to uphold. You haven't seen many women of color upheld to high standards. The women of color that are in the industry that are held to a high standard are diabolical in language, the way that they speak, the way that they're disenfranchising to other women, the way that they're dressed like prostitutes, and basically they might as well have their yoni wide open for all to see, because if they don't have it wide open, their language and the way that they denote the sexual improprieties that they engage with would already let you know what their vaginas look like. This is the type of diabolical and also they made sure they assigned her a handler. That's who her boyfriend is. Her boyfriend is her handler. Why is he her handler? He was somebody who wasn't as really anybody super special, okay? He already upholds a low vibration. He's also from the prison system, so he has a perfect way of offset. Listen to his name, Offset. Offset, meaning he comes from offset. He was sent from the off part of the set to make sure he handled her. They make sure, Sap, thank you, Sirius. Ooh, very nice one. They made sure they had him attached to her to keep her in line. Because handlers are supposed to keep you in line. They keep you from doing something too much and too little. They make sure they're assigned to keep you limited and make sure that you aren't going outside the perimeter. I have all these things hit my truck. My tree does not like me talking about this. It keeps hitting things on the top of my truck. Hey, Mama, do you not want me talking? My tree is like, that's enough. Okay, I'll stay off her. I'll listen to my mama tree. Whenever Grandmother Tree says to go in another direction, I have to respect her, and she's telling me to go in another direction. Okay? So, what to look for in your handlers? Okay? Handlers right now. What to look for in your handlers? If a handler comes from you to you and literally is requiring for you to change who and what you are from the person that they were attracted to, that's suspect handler. If the handler comes to you too shiny, too new, too perfected, too fitting, as if they were perfectly tailored to you, we're not talking about something like a twin flame. We're not talking about a soulmate. We're talking about something that's artificially implanted, meaning that they look shiny, but they don't come from anything shiny. Now, if they're shiny and they are who they are, you can see their family dynamics. If there's somebody for you, you can vet that out by their family. If they don't have any family to vet out, meaning that you can't look at the uncle or the mother or the daddy or the brothers who have the same vibration, who've been reared in the same households or same environment, and they don't have that same vibration, and this person all of a sudden is showing up so much different than their family dynamics and how they've been brought up, then you should know, like, listen, if their families are drinking Hennessy, sipping on the yak, got malt liquor all up the everything gazoo, and this person comes to you looking clean, clear, almost like something out of the Armanic magazines, there's something to that. Now, I'm not saying people can't clean up, okay, but fruit don't fall very far from the tree. So even if they look like the perfect Armani suit, I'm just using an example, Armani suit, they should match the diabolical language of where they came from. So they may have an Armani suit, but they may say mama neffin, cursing. They have the language of the native tongue which they've come from. Do you see what I mean? So if they're acting different now, in another part of a handler, if you never see their family dynamics, if there aren't any reference points to where they come from, they just came out of the blue and landed on your lap so beautifully and perfect. They landed on your lap. And what I was going to say to you, all the handlers that they send to me now, they will not let them have sex with me. Not that I've tried to have sex with them. Not that I've tried to have sex with them, but the handlers, how I knew the handlers later is because they knew if they would have mating with FleurBrun, I would infiltrate their minds. So they didn't want that, because they had known for the previous handler, as soon as they were mating with me, it was hard for him to maintain his diabolical nature. So what they did is they made them unable to have sex with me. So that's also how I would test a handler, to see how far and how fast they would go. So they wouldn't, if you are a female and you have a higher vibration, they know that by the very nature of your yoni, you will transmute a negative male and you can make him shapeshift him into something different. And they won't allow even the opportunity for you to get it, because there's certain well, it's not blood types. There's certain beings on this planet, certain females and males, who have the potentiality of shapeshifting people based on interaction. And they won't let you have sex with those who have that ability. So they will send handlers that aren't allowed to have sex with you. That's how I vetted out mine. They won't even let them come in close proximity. Handlers can be from a distance. A lot of times you'll have handlers that are online. You can have an online handler who says, oh, they're like this lover from far, but they can never meet up with you, right? They can never come in your close proximity because they can control you now through electronics. You can get your happy dandy handler through your iPad right now. You could get your happy dandy handler through Patreon and on Facebook and on Instagram. You could talk to him every day. You could sex text him. You could Instagram, what is it? Live feed him. You could do all kinds of things to him, but he can handle you from a distance. He doesn't even need to come to your handy dandy neighborhood. Do you understand? So now you have handlers that are set out here creating havoc. But for many of us who already are in the awareness, we already know. A handsome face and a magical wand isn't anything that will allure me. I feel your vibration, and I understand and understand if your vibration isn't matching mine, there isn't any way that you should want me. It's one of the reasons that I had like Kirk. Kirk wasn't the sign. He was a Taurus. He wasn't a sign that I'm normally accustomed to. I had never mated with a Taurus. He wasn't coming from the industry, or he wasn't a sports figure. He was a regular guy. That's what many of you, some of my friends were like shocked, like, Kirk is just a regular guy. I loved him for that reason. He was a regular man. He wasn't coming. I didn't have like an overwhelmment of being infatuated with him when I first met him, because he actually came just as a regular guy who was attracted to a woman that he met. And it's why the reason I felt so safe with him for the longest time. So big up to all the Tauruses in the house. And you sexy Tauruses. I like you Tauruses. You like to eat, have sex, and and protect. Yeah, it's one of those signs. And you're family oriented too. You have children with the Taurus. They protect their children as well. Yeah. Let me get back to the topic. So that being said, you got to be careful with the handlers online. And like I said, the whole conscious community is infiltrated. The whole conscious community, females, males, they're all infiltrated. I've met, because I like to meet everybody. I told you in the last video. Please, if you're in the chat, please put a like on the video. I see we have 613 magnificent beings on here, and I always appreciate it when you put a like on my video. It keeps YouTube allowing me to still share my intel, and it keeps us from knowing that the topic is of interest to you. So please put a like. When I come in the room, I put likes on videos now, because I realize it's a necessity. Thank you. So what was I saying? Oh, so what I see in the conscious community, like I said, is a whole bunch of agents that are basically utilizing beefs and dark stories and false narratives in order to keep you mesmerized. That's another way that agents and also handlers keep you perpetually distracted. They will perpetually keep giving you more excitement, more beefs. Like you had Hassan Campbell have some sort of police come to his house. Then he's going to the police station, and then he makes feeds talking about he's the best online. He's got a lot of subscribers. Then you had Sanetta going at Hassim, and you have this beef. So you have people allured by the sickness, allured by the darkness. You know what I mean? We have to be mindful that, again, anything that's sharing dark stories all the times with you, anything that is perpetually keep giving the narrative of victimhood, of suppression, of depression, of sadness, of abductions. That's why you won't ever hear me talk about people who are abducted. That's why you won't hear me talk all about people who are what we consider to be targeted individuals, because me talking about that perpetually will put you in that space. That is why a lot of these dark beings online, that's what I'm saying, people from cults, people from Satanist families, they will have interesting stories. And if they always are telling you what they went through that was sick or depraved, or always obsessing with child pornography or child murders or that is sickness. Why would you want to perpetuate? Why don't we talk about the resolve? We can bring up the issues, but why don't we bring up the resolve at the same time? Don't just talk about the problem. Let's talk about the ways that we could protect the children. Let's hash out ways. If we're going to bring up the problem, let's talk about ways that we can remedy what's going on. Let's talk about how we can protect the children, and that you can make sure that you're watching out for children in your area and everybody else. So we have to watch that. And also in the UFO ET community, you have a lot of these people in the UFO ET community that are always talking about blowing up bases. They're fighting draconians. People eating people. Why would that be a narrative in the ET and UFO community? Because we know, coming from the galactic sect, that's not happening all the time. We know that many of the galactics who seeded their own beings here are having positive experiences. We know that for the fact that we've been here and we're still living on this planet, that they aren't trying to kill people in the mass droves. Control, yes. Kill, not necessarily. Feed off of your energy, absolutely. Know your agents and know your handlers by their objectives. And they're look at my squirrels, they're so cute. I love my squirrels. They do the cutest things to distract me. Know your handlers. If it's too good to be true, vet it out. If a man wants to be in my frequency, and another thing, if you have a heightened amount of protection, they're going to make you come to them. That's another thing, my young sea stars and sun stars. That's one of the denotions of how handlers will come to you when they know you got beefed up security energetically. They will always have you come to them. They will have you always come to them. They won't ever come to you because they're scared, because they're disallowed from coming into your vortex. They will always come to you. So make sure that if you want to vet out someone, anyone who's healthy, who's for you in your frequency, they come to you. They can walk into your perimeter safely, easily, and effortlessly. If they can come to your house and knock on your door and step in your house without getting chills or scared or ran away, that is a sign they have their best protection. They have they're in sync with you. That means that their vibration is matching. Your ancestors are allotting for that kind of entry into your world. If you're getting a partnership or someone who's always telling you to come to their house, or to come meet them halfway, or to meet them outdoors at open areas, that is a sign. Until you trust. I'm not saying you should let everybody at your house, but I'm just saying if they can't come to you and they're asking for you to always come to them, that is also a sign that you need to watch. It doesn't necessarily mean handle it, but it means they aren't matching your vibration, that you always have to come to them. Anything that's for you comes easily and effortlessly in your world. You won't have to invite it. It will naturally feel comfortable coming to you and within your into your field. I have friends from previously that can't even come to my neighborhood because everything happens where they're disallowed to do so. That is my filtering system. The same with the conference. The only people who were last year who could come to the conference, many people, listen, there were people who paid for tickets who couldn't come to the conference last year because they didn't match the vibration. When you met, like literally, I didn't even know what to look to in the conference, to be honest, because it was my first conference. I didn't know what to expect. And when I met everyone, I was like, oh my God. And then I realized, Sensei said, that's your filtering system. All the fear, all the darkness going in people's ears, saying something negative was going to happen, so on. That the fear also was a denotion they weren't in my frequency. Anybody who's fearful couldn't be in my frequency. So all those who were controlled by the fear or darkness, saying that I was negative or something negative was going to happen at the conference, they weren't allotted because they weren't in the vibration of being there. It doesn't mean I'm better than anyone. It just means that we're not matching. Because if you're meant to be with and around me, it will be easy and effortless. You'll be able to pay for the conference. You'll be able to go to the conference. It'll be easy booking your flights. It'll be easy driving there. It'll be easy breezy cover girl. So that's why I'm unworried. I'm zero. I have zero worries about what goes on. I know who's meant to come around me will be there. And you should always be certain that those who are for you can come around you easily and effortlessly. Now, if your vibration is hampered, now you gotta be careful. If your vibration is hampered, and I can use an example when I went against my own filtering system. Remember last year when I got in a fight with the draconian, my ex's draconian girlfriend? You know why that happened, right? Because I went out of, first of all, I wasn't supposed to be where I was supposed to be. I went out, and people are laughing. Remember, it was diabolical. I was like, remember I said I failed. I failed the test. I was out of my element. I went to somewhere else where I wasn't supposed to be. I knew that. So when I put myself in someone else's alignment, that's why I said I went to someone else's alignment by someone else's standards. They planned the trip and they planned everything where I was supposed to be. That wasn't my plan. That wasn't my choice. Like I didn't choose those things. I just kind of followed someone else's lead. That put me in someone else's vibration. So now I learned that I will only do what's in. If I plan something, I'm planning it myself. If I book something, I'm booking it myself. If I go and do something, I will do it myself. I won't allow anyone to take control over what I do. So that's what I'm saying. A lot of times when people come on, FleurBrun has handlers. There are zero handlers. There is no man who's puppeteering me. You haven't ever seen Kirk or my twin flame on film. You haven't ever seen them because they have zero control over me. They aren't in control of my finances. They aren't in control of where I live. They aren't in control of what I eat or what I do, who I talk to. I have zero handlers. I've learned from that dark Cancer who was an astrologist / Messianic occult person, that I won't ever allow someone to ever control what I do. When people start asking and trying to tell me what to do, I look at them sideways. I'm a grown woman and I make decisions for myself and my family every day, sound decisions. There isn't any person that I need. Now, there are people I love to get advice from, but it doesn't mean that I have to uphold to their standard of what I should and shouldn't be. That is why you won't ever be susceptible to a handler. If you allow other people to choose your life or to make decisions regarding yourself, yes, Cardi B is also a gang member. Yes, and that also puts her in that arena of occultism. Look at my little ones. Oh, she's gonna take the skateboard out. Hold on. My little one's a skateboardist now. She's amazing. This is the little one. Hi, Bubba. Can you take that branch off there, Cookie? The branch right here. Cookabucka. Right here. This one right here too. Yeah, the big one. Thank you. Can you reach it? Thank you, honey. Thank you. Oh. Where are you going, babe? I'm going. Make sure to look both ways. Okay. Sorry. So, Handlers 101. If it walks like a duck and it talks like the duck, it's a duck. If they aren't vetted by family dynamics and neighborhoods or people who've known them for years, that's suspect. If they are always looking for you to change who and what you are or how you show up in the world or control it, that's a sign of a handler. If every time you're thinking of doing something positive, or you're making a decision that would put you in a higher position of awareness, and they're always questioning it or creating a air of paranoia or making you feel unsound in your decisions, that's a sign of a handler. Agents are different because they have different agendas, and they could be basically set out. They could be one and the same, and they could be set out by governmental systems. If an agent is out on YouTube and all they do, and you don't know who they are fully, they always have an air of mystiqueness about them. They're always telling you to follow, like, remember Professor Griff? I found out Professor Griff has been replaced, and he would be like, every time he would be like, you follow me? You follow me? He was like, you follow me? He would make people say it. So every time somebody would be at his lectures, he would say, you following me, family? You following me? Give zero of your choice away to anyone. If someone has to perpetually have you give them an okay, like, even when there's places at Disney that tell them to do pirate things and say that they're a pirate, those are cryptic spells. Make sure you aren't following someone else's cryptic spell by following or being spellbound by their verbiage or them telling you to mimic their verbiage. Okay? Be careful of that. And every time you partake in listening or supporting people who aren't integrity based or aren't transparent, and how can you vet out transparency? You really can't. The only way you can really vet out someone is if you meet them in person, to be honest. And that's why, again, that is why I do the conference. I love to meet people. And I figure if they're meant to meet me, they'll be able to come and meet me. Because I feel like I want to know who's out there. I want to meet you. You know what I mean? I want to meet those who are in alignment with me. So a lot of times for me, I'm from Mount Vernon. It's a very small town. We knew everybody. It's what I'm accustomed to. So for me to vet people out, I like to meet them in person. I'm okay to meet people in person because I am who I am. If I was afraid of meeting you in person, you should question my legitimacy. Because if I'm scared to meet you in person, it also means that I'm not quite as enlightened or as spiritually astute. Because if I'm still in fear, that says something about why would I be fearful if I'm legitimate? Because if I'm who I am, the only thing I fear is things that I basically put out and I create for myself. I can only fear what I've created for myself. So just, if you vet them out, that's why it's nice to go to those lectures. I know a lot of people in New York do the lecture set because I grew up in a lecture set sect in New York. So a lot of times in New York, we go to the lectures. Remember when I went to B.O.B, I wanted to go see B.O.B, and who else was there? There were a lot of people. Who else was there? Who spoke? Oh my gosh, it's sad that who spoke? Oh, Khadijah, which is Brother Panic's wife. Brother Panic was there, which, you know, I'm adverse to. And ever since Brother Panic has been associated with B.O.B, he's not been the same. All he does is go in liquor stores. You haven't heard me talk about B.O.B because he's gone. And if you notice, I'm later on if I have time on Instagram, we're gonna watch Tequila's videos with her singing hymns and yelling at the camera, all these kind of religious banters, and talking about she's in love with Jesus Christ, that's her lover. And B.O.B, as soon as he started talking about cloning and everything, then he got hooked up with a Satanist, and now he's doing Baphomet symbols and drinking Hennessy and going in liquor stores and doing threesomes. He's lost his mind. That wasn't the man. Well, I don't know if that's B.O.B 1.0. I don't know which B.O.B that is. I had an affinity, like literally, I could tell you, family, I had a thing for B.O.B. I think many of you knew it. It's why I flew to New York just to go and be in his presence. And when I saw the agents, you know, and personally, I think that Panic is his handler, because he changed as soon as he got in sync with Brother Panic. Now he's doing Balfamets. Now he's acting differently. Now he's drinking, smoking, doing shrooms, doing drugs all the time. He wasn't doing that before. He was totally changed. And people say, oh, why do you say that about Brother Panic? I say, okay, let's take Brother Panic out of the equation, since you want to. Let's play devil's advocate. When you take Brother Panic out of the thing, when B.O.B wasn't hanging with Brother Panic, let's go back to B.O.B. He was making amazing intel videos. He was making conscious music, right? He was doing amazing things. Wait, yeah, Brother Panic says B.O.B is the same as he always was. But yeah, he's a different man. I disagree. I think that's smoke and mirrors. Okay? That's smoke and mirrors. Now, do I think Brother Panic isn't who he is? I think Brother Panic has always been the same. I don't think, see, this is where the thing is. We got to understand. I don't have an issue personally with Brother Panic. I don't have an issue with him personally. He isn't my cup of tea, though, at all. At all. I'm adverse to his energy. Totally adverse to his energy. So as far as he's concerned, I'm adverse to his energy. And then when he linked up with B.O.B, B.O.B wasn't any longer in my frequency. His intel changed. He's doing videos with women, doing twerking all the time. He's going and buying liquor in liquor stores all the time. He's talking about chiefing. And so that isn't a B.O.B that I respected and loved and really had an affinity for. So when I went to the conference, I did find him candid at the conference. I will say, I thought it was really sweet. You could tell he wasn't comfortable in that neck of the woods. It was very real. But I found like because he's always accompanied by his handler, he has two handlers. He has Brother Panic and Tiff. Those are two of his handlers. Two of his handlers is Tiff, that girlfriend that's with him. Ever since he's with her, he's also been diabolical. And also, what up, babe? Yes, honey?
The gymnastics name is Metro Gymnastics.
That's your name?
No, that's the gymnastics.
Oh, that's the name of it?
Metro Gymnastics.
See if you want to go. You want to go and do it? Okay. I'll see if I sign you up for it, okay? All right. And I know, and there was a lot of C-stars that came for me when I went to the conference because they were upset that I talked about Panic. And like I said to them, you don't have to like everybody that you come in contact with. What is wrong with me saying the truth? See, the problem is that everybody's so scared to speak their mind. See, this is what I don't like either. See, I'm not part of anybody's cheerleading team. You won't hear me. There isn't any clique that I'm associated with. I'm an individual, and how I feel is my individual feeling. So if you like Brother Panic, then by all means, I have girlfriends who love Panic. I have friends who like Panic and they love listening to his intel. Am I mad at them? No. And because we're adults, they can like who they like. He just isn't my cup of tea. Doesn't mean he doesn't have to be yours, but in my opinion, he's not mine. That's all. We need to be rational about that, because one person doesn't, people got upset because I said I don't like him. Why should I? Okay, I don't. So what? Keep it moving. You like everybody you come in contact with? No. That's insane. So, when I said that, I was like, you know what? You have another agenda, because if me talking about my aversion to someone bothers you, that means that you really not vetted about that person. If you like Brother Panic, you wouldn't care what I said. You'd be like, that's just FleurBrun. She don't really know him. If you really were about someone, what I say about him wouldn't phase you. It wouldn't phase you. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. It's not a big deal. But what I say is, like, when you look at someone like B.O.B, look at his handlers. He has Brother Panic as his handler, and he has Tiff. Tiff came into his life. He's been having threesomes and twerking, going to parties with all women twerking, okay, and smoked up. He's got Brother Panic in his life, and all he's been doing is doing Baphomet signals and signs and making cryptic videos that should be enlightened but have some sort of satanic underlay. I'm just saying, I'm not in love with B.O.B. anymore. I'm sorry. He was my cup of tea when he was enlightened. That lets you know what mindset I have too. It lets you know how I am, because I appreciated him when he was more meek and more kind, and he showed up with more integrity in the things he did. He wasn't so blinded by materialism and low vibrational behavior. When they start doing that, it's crazy. Bob's uncle said, ever since him and Tiff got serious, he barely talks to his family anymore. That's his handler. When I went to the conference, y'all, big up to all the nieces I met at the conference. I'm going to be in New York, family. I'm going to come to New York after I do my conference. I'll come and I'll rent out a space in Harlem Center, because that's my neck of the woods, and we'll hang out. We'll do like a meet and greet, because I know you guys want me to come to New York. And I was there, and all of the sea stars and sun stars, y'all represented. I loved it. I showed up. Brother Rich held the conference. It was Sonetta. I don't know if it was Sonetta's event. It wouldn't matter. I was going to see. And I supported it because I paid my money. So I supported the event. I love seeing a lot of amazing people in one room. I thought it was amazing to meet so many amazing people. Okay. So what I would say is, look at that dynamics with the handler. That's a great example of seeing how someone has been handled. With Tila Tequila. Many of you know Tila Tequila. Go see her channel. I'm going to play her videos tonight if I get chance. If the nieces, you know, because I was watching some Brazilian TV last night. I was watching some Brazilian shows. I love my Brazilian shows. But I was watching a Brazilian show last night. Was I? No, I wasn't. I was going to go on Instagram. Did I go on Instagram last night? I don't even remember. Was I on last night? Because I was watching my Brazilian shows. I think it was the night before. Tila Tequila was another one who's whistleblowing, talking about the industry, talking about everybody. And you saw what happened? They reprogrammed her. Now she's singing off-key hymns online, yelling at people's scriptures, talking about black people are damned and they are abomination to God. This is what this woman's talking. So we'll go into that tonight. You're going to see Tila Tequila. If you saw her videos before, you will see the mind control. They reprogrammed her. My homie, and he isn't my homie anymore, Kanye West. Kanye West is another one. As soon as he starts talking about the industry. Okay, I can't talk. I've got to make dinner for my little ones. What time is it? I don't like my little ones. I like them to eat at 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock is the latest. I got a little bit more time, but I got to make sure I have dinner ready for my little ones. What did I say? Oh, Kanye West. Remember what happened? See, I remember what happened. Many of you don't remember. I remember exactly what happened. Remember that? Kanye West, he was calling out people, and I invited him. And at the time, I invited him years ago. I told my husband, this is when I was still with my husband. I told my husband years ago, I wanted Kanye to come over, because we were just regular people, well, somewhat regular people in the house. So I felt like he needed a little more, like, he needed a space that wasn't based in like falsehood, of pseudo people around him. He was still around. He was still mentally there. And then later on, many of you saw me. I gave an invitation. I said, listen, come to my house. I will juice for you. I will make sure you're good, because he's surrounded by, devils. And as soon as he was trying to get out, I'm telling you, family, they took him. Remember, they took him to the hospital? He said his trainer forced him to go to the hospital. They reconditioned him. And what color was his hair when he came out of the hospital? What color was his hair when he went to go visit Donald Trump? It was blonde. So that was a sign to the Illuminatis that they had reconditioned him. Anytime they dye their hair blonde, I already know you're part of the white, what is it called? The white, what is it called? It's a reprogramming system. I knew they didn't clone him. They reconditioned him. They couldn't clone him. They didn't clone him. They turn their hair blonde. Anytime people dye their hair blonde, I'm concerned that they're part of the because that is a sign that something's going on with you. I'm not talking about the regular. I'm not talking about our sneezers on here or changing their hair. I'm talking about people in that life. You know, people be like, why are you saying that I'm dyeing my hair blonde? I'm not talking about the regular Joe. I'm talking about people who are attached to people in the industry or people of pinnacle value as far as the matrix is concerned. Okay? So when I saw Whoopi Goldberg with blonde hair on her, I don't, first of all, I don't know if it's supposed to be blonde or white. Is it blonde or white? I don't know if it's blonde or white. Does anyone know if Whoopi that's blonde? Because I told people yesterday I've never seen her with blonde hair. Did you see Whoopi? I was concerned. I was like, oh snap, they got Whoopi too. Whoopi, is it white or is it blonde? Is it white? Because if it's white, it's something else. Oh, okay, it's white. Okay, so maybe no, that's a little different. If she put her hair white, that's a little different. Okay, that's a little different. Okay, thank you. White hair means she's connected to the nega. She's trying to show her allegiance to the nega. Okay, thank you. Okay, all right. Mentellect. I've heard mentellect. I can't give a full consensus on mentellect because mentellect does have a lot of truths in his shares. He does. He has a lot of truths in his shares. But I don't listen to him enough. I would have to listen to him enough. Oh, you already know Wendy Williams. And I told you many years ago, Wendy Williams was the one who told me to leave my husband. See, I told you guys, right? That I can say it now. Big up to anyone in the room. Please put a like on the video. Please put a like on the video if you appreciate the topic and for the sake of YouTube. Yeah, Wendy Williams about over, how many years ago was that? 13 years ago. Oh, close to 13 years ago. Is it 12 to 13? It's 13 years ago. 13 years ago, Wendy Williams, which was a true Wendy Williams, told me to leave my husband, my Nazi. She said it. She said, listen, he ain't never gonna change. This is what she told me. She gave me the best advice that I didn't listen to. She said he ain't never gonna change. He's gonna always be this way. She gave me some other personal advice. And I have this on record. Yeah. She told me, yeah. But then after I'm delgaddess love. So I'm DELL _goddess, GHADDESS _love. That's my name on Instagram. Yeah. She said it's for the show called The Stand. I haven't seen that. Thank you, Vivian. Vivian put it in there. Thank you, Vivian. What was I saying? Oh, what was I saying? I forgot what I was saying. You know what? I just lost my frame of thought for a moment. Oh, Wendy Williams. Oh yeah, I didn't take her advice. I didn't. It's not that I didn't want to. I did ask for it. That's why I say be careful with your girlfriend. Sometimes we ask for advice and we really don't want it because at the time I don't want to give too much information, but at the time I didn't know. I didn't know what I was very naive. I wasn't naive too deep, but I was naive in love. It was a little different. Okay. So I don't trust her anymore because she's been replaced. You know, once they reprogram you aren't safe with them. They reprogrammed her. Now, because she had her handler, remember Kev was her handler. Kev was her handler for years. Woo! Remember that? Yes. He was her handler and he was a vicious. You ever heard from the back room? People were scared of her husband. She talks about that. She was crying all the time. Yeah. So that was her handler. So, you know, it would be interesting. I don't know who's around her now. It would be yeah, Wendy told me to leave my husband. She did. What was I saying? It'd be interesting to see who's around Wendy Williams now because I don't know who's around her. Doreen Virtue has been taken over. Doreen Virtue is, from my intel, she's been taken over by beings, like otherworldly beings. I heard she's possessed by other beings. This is my intel. I don't know how true it is. I haven't vetted it out, but I heard that beings had taken over Doreen Virtue, like dark beings had taken her over via through channeling. That's why I don't trust channeling. Doreen Virtue made the cards, you know, like all your your Doreen Virtue made like the tarot cards. You know Doreen Virtue? Yeah. Yeah, she's been taken over, so I don't trust her. I never really did. I don't listen. I'm not a fan of people who channel. I know that many of you love channeling, but I won't trust you if you channel, because a lot of times people channel and you guys are talking to deities who tell you they're great and you can't vet it out. The only beings that talk to me are my ancestors. The only beings that I allowed to talk to me are my mother, my father, my personal ancestors that I know personally, and that's it. And myself and my higher self. I listen to zero outside of I don't trust nobody outside of myself. That's one thing I don't do. And I trust zero people who channel. If you like to channel, we won't be friends. We won't be best friends. I won't let you around my children. That I best know that. Someone said, "Oh, FleurBrun." They always get on me because I have stringent restrictions. Yo, listen, I don't play with that. Just like I wouldn't take the subway and sit next to the door if I have a gold chain on. I'm real funny about that. I protect my children. No, we weren't friends. No, me and Wendy were not friends. Listen to me. I asked for her advice. We were not friends. Okay? We were not friends. Let me state, just like when I said Jay-Z, I got to be careful what I say because I do come from that world. But we were not friends. I asked for her advice because of who she was in the industry. And she was always keeping it real. Okay? She was a woman that I respected because of where she got in her life at the time. And that's a younger, different Wendy Williams. Okay? But I'm just saying, someone, they got on me. Listen, as much as I give you my opinion on things, I'm okay to take other people's opinions. Because a lot of times when I tell people I don't like channelers, they'll be like, FleurBrun, why do you say you don't like... Oh, listen to my phone. Oh, my phone went crazy. Why is my phone at 1%? Hold on. Okay. Yeah. You heard that? My phone went all kinds of ballistic. They were like, that's too much. For everyone in the room, please put a like on the video if you step in the room as a common courtesy. I truly appreciate it. Yeah, I trust zero people who channel. If people sit down and do meditations in big rooms, I won't trust you either. I keep it real. It's not a judgment. I'm just protecting myself and my offspring. If you're sitting in rooms with tons of people meditating and you don't know the people personally, I won't do it. I will not sit in a room with strangers and meditate and open my portals up. So what? Your demons can hop on into mine? I think not. I think zero. That is something listen, this isn't a judgment. You guys have free will. This is my own personal opinion. I trust zero people who channel. People who are channelers, why I don't trust them is because they're infiltratable. Because a lot of times when they can't get to us, they will use people who are open portals to get to you. So if you don't channel, if you don't allow beings to come into you, they'll utilize somebody who does to give them intel to infiltrate you. So the person will think they're getting divine downloads, and meanwhile they're getting divine demonic intel to try to infiltrate your space and tell you things that are dark, tell you things bad are going to happen, tell you to be cautious. I listen to zero outside of myself. Like I said, call me paranoid, but I will keep my family safe. If you channel, we won't be friends like that. I won't let you around my children. Do I make this clear? And also, if you do mass meditations with strangers all the time, that you don't know. Now, I know people who meditate together who know each other, like mothers, sisters, daughters, father, son. I know families who meditate together. I don't think that is as diabolical. I'm not saying that. Or friends who know each other, who are okay with allowing that swap of energy. I know people who do that. I'm not so upset at them. But what I will say is, I think if you lack protecting yourself, I can't expect you to be protective around me as somebody who you're not vetted in knowing. So if you aren't protective of your own spirituality and your own personal mind space and your energy vortexes, then I know that I can't rely on you to be protective of all those around yourself, especially my children. So that's it. So it isn't judgment. That's the way I protect myself. That's how I put up my shields. Okay? And I will say this, back in the days, I used to go to yoga classes. Remember, I do, at the end, you lie down and you do meditation together. And I remember one time I felt some tingly. This man was above me with his feet. Listen, his feet were to my crown. Listen, this is how sick it is. His feet were to my crown. So you know, after you do yoga, you lie down together and do mass meditation. This is years ago. So I would lie down and his feet were to my head. I felt like tingling, like something trying to get in my head. I remember that. And at the time, I wasn't this far deep into this. I felt that and it scared me. And I was like, screw that. I won't do that. I will leave after doing yoga. I don't do yoga with people anymore like that. I'll do private lessons. But who's this? Hold on. Hi. Who's that? Who's that? Is it Kevin's sister? Oh my God! How are you doing? Come here. Oh, family, this is an old friend of mine. Oh, we gotta be careful. Tell me if she's an agent. See, when you're talking about handlers, let's see. This is a friend of mine. What you doing around here? You living here now?
Yeah.
Oh my God, come.
Let me see, can I find it? I went to the doctor down the street.
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
I'm good. I'm live here, so come talk.
Hey, good.
Good. Hey, Jen, you look so pretty. Come.
Good to see you. How you doing, sweetie?
Let's say hi to everybody.
Hey, everybody.
It's only 615 people.
Okay. Yes.
So, how you like it down
I
here?
love it.
It's beautiful.
Yes,
Oh my God.
it is. You
How's
look
your
good,
son?
girl.
How's he
He's doing
doing?
fantastic. He graduated from Morehouse.
No.
Yes,
wait,
he did.
wait. How old is he?
I have a 26. You probably talking about Martin?
Yeah, the B at Martin.
He's 19. He's doing good.
Oh
He's
my
doing good.
God, I
Yeah,
remember
he's-
that.
yeah,
You scared me for a minute. I was like, please don't tell me that.
No, Juwan is a 26-year-old. Hi, love.
See?
Hi.
Do you remember? Did she
Yes,
remember?
I
She
do.
did,
You
she
probably
did.
don't remember me.
She was a baby at the time. I'm sorry,
Yes.
family. Y'all,
Good to see
see, I
you.
keep it real on live.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we gotta go out.
Okay. Give
So-
me your number. Oh,
Yeah, I can do it. Yes, get a pen. Let me write it down for you. Hold on.
you can put it in your phone or something. I know you're
Oh
busy.
yeah. Here.
Yeah, let me put it in your phone.
Because everybody have my phone number. It'd be like blowing up my phone.
Okay. Yes,
Yeah.
we don't want that to happen.
Oh wait a minute, 1% here. Let me write it down quick. Hold on.
Okay.
Why don't you put yourself in my phone? How about that?
Okay. Yep, I can do that.
Wait. Let's do this. Contacts.
Yep. So I get a job
Where are you working?
in
Oh.
Lockheed Martin.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, you already set up.
Yeah, I've been here since
I know. I saw your brother in Babs.
Okay.
I saw
Oh
him a while
Lord.
ago.
Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna work.
Is it going?
It's
Do it quickly.
going. Let me see. I'm trying to back out of this cut.
Sit
Okay.
down there. Sorry,
I'm good.
family. Can you
No,
guys can wait for me? Hold on.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
Really quick. Okay, I'm just gonna put this.
Yoga's not demonic. I didn't say yoga's demonic. They thought I said yoga's demonic. I didn't say that. I said I did yoga, but I just won't do the meditation at the end. Did it work?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm gonna call me.
Yes.
Then I'll have it.
We should go out. I want to go
Yes,
out.
yes. I have no friends here, so just call me.
This will be nice.
Yes,
It's so
yep.
nice to see
Yeah,
you. You
good
look
to see you.
good.
Thank you.
You came. See?
Yes,
Told you
I-
leave where you were from.
I finally made it.
That's
It's nice.
good.
I love
That's
it here.
good. I love it.
Okay, call me.
Okay, I'll call you. All right.
love.
Okay.
Have
See
a
you
good
later,
day.
Mama. Hey everyone. Okay, so I'm back. See, I keep it real. You meet my people. You meet my people. She actually had good energy. This is how you know. She was here years ago. This is like mosquitoes. Go. The mosquitoes are coming out. This is like Brazil. Brazil, like at a certain time, the mosquitoes come out. Okay. They said handler. Distraction. She's a handler. She's a handler, that old friend. Oh snap, you calling her well, I'm gonna listen to some of your opinion. Do you think she's a handler? Put an 11 if you think she's a handler that came to distract us. Do you think that? If you think she's a handler, put an 11. Let's see. Okay, we got some. Okay, so no. Good, cool. I liked her energy. I did too. I did. You got some 11s in here. Okay, so we got more no's than 11. Okay, yeah. Her energy felt good, right? Her energy felt really good. She actually moved from DC up here. And you know what's amazing? She was taking care of her. It was the first time I saw. It was beautiful. I'll tell you a story. She won't mind you telling me the story. When she was here, I met another couple, where the couple. Anyway, I don't want to say that. The hater said 11. Anyway, so when she came up, her mother was very sick and she was taking care of her mother. They used to take her mother to the beach in her hospital bed. Like, I would go places with them to resorts and hotels, and they would take their mom to the beach in a hospital bed. So we would go away. Morehouse is a red flag. Y'all off the hook. They would take their mother until she passed. They would take her on all the trips. So I would go places with their mom, she wasn't able to talk anymore. Their mother raised, I think, 6 children, and she raised them. She was a housekeeper, I think, their mother, and all the children are super, super intellect. They're like some of the most doctors, attorneys, and the mother had a stroke and couldn't talk anymore. And that was the daughter who took care of their mother, and they used to take their mother to the beach, and I'd go with them with my girls. And they do that all the time. We'd take the van, and they would have it set up. It was beautiful. So, it's interesting. So thank you for your opinion. I let you meet who I'm around. This is how I keep it real. That's how you know I'm a real person, because many of you don't think I'm a real person until you see me in person. You're like, FleurBrun isn't real. This is real. People stop by my house. They're looking for me. Yeah, nothing is by coincidence either, right? You got to be careful with that. Listen, I'll vet it out. Trish, you aren't right. You aren't wrong. You aren't wrong. So I'll always pay attention, but it's always nice because remember, she is newer to the area, and I knew her from before, and she was gone for a while because her mom, I think the mom passed not too long ago. So that'll be interesting. So any family, you had me. I think I'm gonna go make dinner. I already made it. It's in the oven. So I made vegetable lasagna. I took out the eggplants because I can't do eggplants because it's a nightshade. Look at they're skateboarding down a hill. Oh, they make me so nervous. They're all skateboarding. All the little people are skateboarding down a hill. They always make me so nervous when they do that. You ever know, as a mom, welcome to mother's world. I'm like this. I always put like energetic shields around them. Like I have a little skateboarder. So yeah, I made this wonderful, yummy. I'm gonna start cooking for you guys because you like when I cook. Maybe I'll use the other FleurBrun channel to cook for you. Last time my bosoms were all in the cooking, so I got in a lot of trouble because I was cooking and my bosoms were all in there. So people were like, "Well, your bosoms, hey, bubba."
What are you on?
I'm at the lasagna, the vegetable lasagna.
What are you on?
I'm on. YouTube.
Oh, can I say hi?
No, I don't want.
My
No,
hand-
no.
my
You can
hand.
put your hand there.
Hello.
Say hi. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I made squash mac. Oh, the squash mac and cheese. Oh, I'm gonna cook on the other thing because you guys like when I cook. So I'm gonna make some food on the other. I make a lot of great. As much as I'm not a proponent, and I am not a promoter of vegan living. But because I've lived that life for so long, I do make a lot of my meals are all vegan. So it's interesting. And my youngest has a lot of allergies. So I make a lot of amazing meals that are very, very practical and very GMO free, soy free, safflower free, wonderful. And I make them. So I'll do that because you guys were always telling me, and I have the recipes for my book. I just never put it out. I really should. So I'm really a flexitarian, to be honest. My children are flexitarians. I'm more of a flexitarian now, but I make most of the things I make. Right, Stella? Stella, it makes you nervous when they skate, right? Yeah, and they like to go down the hill. You know what? I used to do things like that. Now I know what my mother felt, right? The other channel's FleurBrun. It's the other channel. I don't use it. That was my channel when they kept kicking me off. Remember they kicked me off YouTube, my main YouTube? Remember those girls came for me saying I took their content, and she told a whole bunch of lies and had me not be able to go on live. So I had another YouTube channel. It's the other one. So what I'll do is I'll start cooking for you guys because you guys like the breadfruit. Someone wanted me to break the breadfruit that I made after my fast. And a lot of people ask me I'm a little more seasoned. Many people don't know. I know sometimes when I go out, people think I'm really, really young. I'm seasoned. I've lived on this planet a while, okay? And people always ask me about my hair and my skin. How does it stay that way? I say, listen, I've taken really great care of myself. I've loved myself. I don't use chemicals on my skin or my hair. I live a pretty natural lifestyle. I really do. I get a little chunky sometimes. I'm a thickums. I like to eat. So yes, I love breadfruit. I like to eat. So that's the only thing, and I like my coffee. So those are the only things that are a little insidious at times is the coffee. But I love my coffee. I haven't drank coffee in 7 days. And I'm a little thick. I like to eat. Sometimes I get thicker. Like right now, I'm slimming down some because I took out the coffee and I'm not eating 50 times a day. You know what I mean? but you know, I go up and down. But I'll definitely do a cooking channel for you guys. I think you love it. And for the little people, a lot of I'm starch free. Yeah. For the little people, I think it's important because as mommies, we're always looking for good things to eat, and I'm really good, and I have children that I really love, and I make sure that anything I do for me, I do 10 times for them. So I make sure I do, like, I make meals that you guys would love. Um, you know, they really love the foods that I made, and I kind of vetted it out because if my little ones like it, most likely your little ones will like it. They really do. So a lot of, like, I do flax milk instead of the other milk. You know, I do a lot of alternatives. I'm nut free because I have a little one that's sensitive to nuts. So I do a lot of great things. Oh, here's my eldest. My eldest is coming out looking like she looks like a mojo. Hey, Bobo, where you going? You gonna go play? Yeah. Okay. You gonna get your skates or no? They're skateboarding down the hill.
I can't do
You're not
that.
there. I know she's doing it over there.
I'm gonna run up the hill though.
Okay, tell them to be. You could be a watch person at the bottom because they like to do that.
Okay.
Makes me nervous.
I have one on the live.
Oh, you bought cassava flour? Yes, yes. You're thick too. I love food. Like when I was in Brazil, and I'll be back in Brazil. I'll do a live from Brazil from you guys again. I gotta go to Brazil. I gotta go to New York and Brazil after the conference, so I'll be in both. But I'll do a little cooking for you. You appreciate it. I won't do the ASMRs, you know, the eating. I like to eat. I like to eat on camera. My mother hates when I do that, just to let you know. My mother thinks it's the most unclassy thing for me to eat on camera. She thinks it's so disrespectful. So I apologize because according to my mother, she doesn't like me to eat on camera. She thinks I'm being disrespectful to you guys. Oh, cassava. Oh, serious. Plantain and guava. Oh my gosh. I'm excited to move to the south, more south, because I love living you lose weight during the winter? Yeah. Okay. You train hard. What I found, this is what I find, because many of you have watched me over the years and you see me chunk up, and what you notice with me chunking up is when I drink coffee, I get a little thicker because of the cortisol that is stimulated, you know, that stress hormone that makes me bulk up, and I gain a lot of water weight. So when you see me stop, it's in my mouth. When you see me stop drinking coffee, if you notice, I guess I can say it on camera, I pee a lot. I get a lot of water weight out because it seems like I bulk when I drink caffeine. So a lot of times when you see me, cortisol, thank you. A lot of times when you guys see me, you know, slim down when I'm not drinking coffee, it's not really that I'm not eating a lot, but it's because I'm draining a lot of water because I'm not drinking, you know, that huge. And there's only one coffee, but I drink a big one. I love my coffee. So yeah. Yeah, I retain water. I do. And I have to stay away from, you know, grains, refined grains, starches. Refined grains bother my body. I'm not made to eat these types of white grains, you know, durum flour and things like that. My body doesn't do well with that. I bulk up and I start getting itchy, especially after the 30-day fast. I started to eat things like bagels and stuff. I would get itchy. Look at them. Look at them skateboarding. Wow. They do it so beautifully. I didn't even skateboard like that. I had a boyfriend who skateboarded. I love them skateboard. I'm gonna go watch them. Yeah, the modern day their talks. And I'm gonna do a whole show on funguses and cancer. Oh my God, this man is life. He basically. Oh, I've got to talk so much about that. There's a whole video I'm gonna make on that and the misrepresentation of fungal infections, and they're misdiagnosing people with cancer that have fungal infections. This man is amazing. I shared him partially on Instagram, but you know, finally I found because I knew what it was because cancer is a fungus, but it really isn't cancer. It's a fungus. We have fungal issues. And then we're talking about, you know, how, I'll get into a whole video on that. That's a whole nother conversation. I want to talk about that. Dr. Kaufman, oh my God, D, right? Oh my God, Kaufman is on. And I studied it for so long. And when I wanted to go into research in oncology, because I wasn't qualified. So when my dad got sick, I tried to get a job in Columbia University in oncology department. I did research, but I didn't have any background in oncology. And why I wanted to do it is because I wanted to learn the ins and outs of toxicology and how it interrelated with gene pools. But I didn't have the background for it, so I didn't get the job. This is many years ago. This is when I was in research, okay? But definitely, I tell people all the time, be careful funguses. Funguses are among us, and definitely our parents and people who are suffering from cancer are actually getting cancer because they're being exposed to fungal infections. Hyper amount of fungus is inside of them, and if you deprive, and what they don't realize is, I love that Kaufman said this, you have people sitting inside chemotherapy rooms eating chocolate and candy and caffeine, and sugar feeds funguses. It is one of their foods. So you're actually doing chemo and feeding the very cancer, the very thing. So, you know, we talk about that. You know, a lot of eating mushrooms, a lot of fungal foods, a lot of reasons why rice has spores on it from being in those mills. You know, it was, my dad passed and I was so pissed off because I felt like, you know, at the time I felt like I should have been able to save my father, because my father was such a healthy man, and I tried and it was too late. I didn't have the information, and I really now I know 99% of what I didn't know. I know now. He's amazing, right, Kaufman? Oh my gosh. So, you know, finally, and I ordered the book. It was like $1,000. I got it for like $300 oh, and I bought another book for $120. It was like $170. I got the book. So on funguses and fungal issues. So I want to talk about that on the next live. I'm going to have Dr. Don on my show on Thursday. That's going to be on Patreon. He's going to talk about the different types of interactions of medications and vitamins and minerals and how we can vet it out. He's thebomb.com. That's who I've talked to for years. Whenever I talk about Don, you hear me talk about it. He's my own. He's in my neck of the woods. He's going to be on Thursday. We're going to start healing ourselves. We don't need, listen, we are the first doctors in our lives. We are the physicians in our lives. What you pay other people to do, what you get medical to do, you should be able to do for yourself. We are the first surgeons, the first doctors, the first medical researchers. We do it ourselves, and we need to get back to knowing that we can heal everything about ourselves. So we're going to get into that conversation. It's amazing. Oh, I know. It's so much happening, so much we got to talk about. I mean, there's so much. This is why I'm saying we don't have to talk about problems. We could talk about solutions. You know what I mean? We can really talk about solutions. I'm trying to make a world where we're disease free, where we're chaos free, where we're living amongst each other in cohesive ways, where we're living cohesive with nature, where our families and children are safe from predators, where predators aren't even in the mix of engaging with us anymore. You know what I mean? So that's the world that I want to create, and I hope that many of you want to create that world too. I want it to be where our children can walk free, and we're good, and we can create a better world where, you know, we won't have to worry about, you know, animals dying in masses, our waterways being poisoned, our trees being destroyed, our very life being limited based on these unhealthy chemtrails. I want it to be beautiful, and I will be the change I want to see in the world. I'm not asking for anyone else. I will be the first change. I will be the change to see in the world. I will be the first step of change I want to see in the world. I can't change what I don't acknowledge, and now that I acknowledge, I can change it. So let's get it on a pop, and let's get this unity consciousness on. Let's get to the Galactic Federation status. All right. Dr. Kaufman, I'll put the link. When I make the video, listen, I'm going to do a video on it probably in the day tomorrow. When I do the video, I will put the link of Dr. Kaufman. He's not a Dr. Kaufman's video in the link, so you guys will have it. And then tomorrow night is Don's show, Dr. Don's show, and we'll get into it. Listen, we're changing the world. And if anybody isn't outside of that and isn't in sync with the healing of the planet and ourselves, then they shouldn't be here anymore. This is how we're going to roll as earthlings. We aren't any longer in alignment with beings that are outside of our healthiness. We're going to be the earthlings that are known and respected in other platforms and other places where they know that we're good people and that we take care of our own. All right, Brooklyn's in the house. Anyway, family, I'm out. Let me go. I got lasagna in the oven. Hopefully it's cooked. What time is it? Oh, 5:40. Okay, dinner's at 6 o'clock. Hey, Vanjie. Yes, yeah, we're gonna be the change we want to see in the world. It's beautiful. So, oh, my little ones. Oh, I'm not talking to you guys. I love my little girls. They're like and they'll be at the conference too. frickin' frack. That's frickin' frack right there. Anyway, have a beautiful evening. For some of you in the West Coast, you're gonna have an amazing day, right? Day. Or some of you are all the way in the morning if you're in Australia. Soursop. Ooh, and then for the conference, I'm making my famous my tea. So you know the tea that you guys always used to see me have, the moringa soursop tea. So I've already got the fresh soursop leaves from my tree out there. So I have soursop. So I'm making soursop moringa tea for everyone at the conference. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So with fresh key limes. It's gonna be, listen, FleurBrun likes food. I love drinking. I love, I'm so French in that way. I love eating with people I love. That's my favorite. I love eating and engaging like that way with people I love. You know how much they charge over here at the Asian store for the big soursop, the huge, they call it aguariana. They call it something different. They call it something. They charge like $30 for one soursop. That's insane. We're in Florida, for God's sake. How are you charging so much money? The Asian stores are charging like $30 for one. That's crazy. Oh yeah, guanabana. That's what they call it. Soursop. That's crazy. How are you charging that much money? Manger, manger. Manger, manger. Manger, manger, manger. That's to eat in French. Manger. Yeah. Tu es faim? You hungry? Ah oui, j'ai faim. All right, family. I'm gone. It's $6.99 a pound in Mexico. That's crazy. They're charging so much money. That's how you know it heals people. Well, I'm gonna make it at the thing. And I think on Friday. Oh, for those entering the conference, one of the Sea Stars says we're gonna be dressing in pajamas on onesies. For those who are going to the conference, we're dressing in onesies on Friday. So after we go downtown to eat, I'm not supposed to say these things online, but anyway, after we do our whatchamacallit, we're gonna do onesies. So if you're attending the pajama party, I don't think it's a pajama party. I think we're gonna watch movies outside on Friday. So for those who are attending the conference, I'll put it in your itinerary when you get it. But one of the Sea Stars says we should dress up in onesies. I love it. I'm all for it. So we'll be dressed up in onesies. I'm gonna look for the coolest. I don't know what I want to be yet. I forgot. I gotta pick out a onesie. So whoever's going, pick out your onesie. Hopefully it's not hot, because we'd be sweaty and hot in our onesies. Anyway, we'll wear our onesies and watch The Matrix. That'll be hilarious. Could you imagine? Amina said it. Amina, was you who said it. Yeah, we're wearing our onesies and we're gonna watch movies. I was gonna make and also I was gonna do s'mores, because they have this chocolate that doesn't have any soy in it. It's only chocolate that has soy. I gotta get it though. I gotta see if they have it down there, because I have to order it. And then obviously we do vegan marshmallows, so we could do that too. Okay, they're calling me. Uh-oh. Borazine said his mom said they already pulled the plug on Northern California. So for those in Northern California, they already have the lights off. They're still deciding on South Carolina, California. So breaking news. Borazine just broke news. His mom just said North California, your lights are out. So for all those in North California, they already pulled the plug on your lights. So please get your cameras out. You heard about the other thing. Please get the footage. And please get your seismic activity. Okay, so North California, hold on. This is what's going, okay, so this is from Aborazine. Thank you, Aborazine. So Aborazine said they already pulled the plug on North California. Be safe, stand, take pictures though. Get the footage, because I think there's a fleet of UFOs. Personally, I think there's some UFO activity. This is my personal opinion. We won't know until you take the pictures. Get the footage. Get the footage. Don't do it from the window though, safely, because I don't know I don't know who's gonna be out there. The main stuff is coming Friday the 11th. Okay, so this is from Aborazine. The main stuff is coming Friday. We're getting fresh breaking news. All right, we might have to go on Instagram tonight. So Instagram, I think we're gonna meet up, because I'm gonna film Tila Tequila losing her darn mind, and then we're gonna play some music, and we're gonna get the breaking news tonight. Okay, so we got breaking news. North California, the lights are out. Lights out in North Carolina. I keep saying North Carolina. Please, I don't want to say that. I rebuke that statement. North California, lights are out already. Okay? So I don't know what time. Remember, I just do impromptus tonight. Remember, on the West Coast. So usually it's after my nieces are asleep. I keep it real. When my nieces are asleep, I don't like to go live when they're awake because they get all antsy. They want mommy time. So, oh, what happened? Did it break? Did you hear it?
Yes.
What? Why is her bracelet on? No, she has to wear this. What
No,
happened?
she can't.
Why?
It's too big and it's strong.
No, tell her to put it on her leg because it's for safety.
I'll put it on her. Okay.
Tell her to put it on her leg or her ankle. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's exercise.
Okay.
Necessary.
You guys, it's dinner time in a couple minutes, okay? It's dinner time in a couple minutes. All right, I gotta go. My little, okay. We don't want to mention that being on this site. Please do not mention that being on here. Shalom. Please don't mention him. He is not welcomed on the site, and it isn't somebody I'm in sync with. So I just removed your message just for that reason. Okay? So, yeah, it's dinner time. All right, I'm gone, family. Let me go. I will be on tonight sometime on Instagram because I want to get on about what's going on in California, and hopefully we'll have some of our Cali family able to go on. Hopefully there shouldn't be any martial law. Wait, we have more breaking news. Hold on. Okay, so we have more breaking news. Hold on before I go. Hold on. Here we go. Breaking news. Today and tonight is to harvest the anger and fear. Tomorrow is the binary code development, and Friday 11th is when we'll be entering the gate through. Wait. Hold on. My phone's about to die. Okay. Today and tonight is to harvest the anger and fear. Tomorrow is the binary code development, and Friday the 11th is when it's entering through the gate portal. Okay, so everybody keep positive. Make love tonight. Tell your husband when he gets home, he's got to put his magical wand on you. Tell your lover that you love her. Tell your husband that you love him. Play with your children tonight. Stay in love and light, everyone. Okay, so if we know that they're fearing off of sadness and anger and fear, those in North Carolina, North California, if you want to come on and if you have some Wi-Fi, if you're able, I don't want you wasting all your electricity, but if you want to, you can join us tonight. We'll keep you happy. We'll play some good music. We're going to keep you positive, okay? Stay positive. Stay in love. Stay in family. Make some good food. You're going to eat some lasagna. Make some happy smoothies, okay? Everybody stay in positivity, because when you know they're feeding off of fear, give them zero. Feed zero demons. Don't refrain from feeding the demons tonight or ever, okay? If they're trying to get you into darkness, ignore. If someone's calling you to tell you darkness, don't answer the phone. You know who they are. All those energy dumpers that like to call you and tell you all the darkness in their life, don't answer the phone. Ignore. Rebuke them. Rebuke those phone calls. Okay? So my little ones are going to go eat lasagna. We're going to stay positive tonight. Stay out of the business of others. Okay? And tonight we'll go over the intel that Aborazine just gave us. And if we have until the 11th to, what is it, 2 days? What's today's date? Today's the 9th. Okay, today's the 9th. So let's just stay good, okay? Keep your little ones close, all right? Rebuke all those insidious intellists that want to tell you negative things, okay? And enjoy. I'm going to have the lasagna now. I'm actually not going to eat the lasagna because I had my acai bowl and I ate one meal today. It was beautiful. It was with Keiko chips, and it had mango and pineapple in it, and it had some granola on it. I had that. So my little ones are having the lasagna. Mommy already ate. So I'm going to have some tea. And tonight when you see me on Instagram, I'm actually going to have, I'm going to have my tecchino, my cafe, my Carif, my coffee, you know, the fake coffee with like the creamer. I'll have that tonight when we're on the show, because that'll make me feel like it makes me feel good, like I'm getting something special. All right, so I'll see you later. I try to end this feed like 50 million times. This is the second time today. I love you, family. Stay positive, stay great, and peace.